What's up, everybody? It's Purpose Driven Live Sports back here for some NBA news. So, over the past couple days, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard, but Kawhi Leonard signed with the LA Clippers, which I'm very happy about. I like what he did. To me, that team it already had the pieces around that if he did sign there, that he could potentially win a championship if he's on that squad. But not only did he do that, he went and he got Paul George to get a trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and now he's also on the Clippers. So now the Clippers pretty much have two superstars, just like the other team in LA, on the Lakers. We have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but guess what? Now the Clippers got two perimeter players who can shoot the ball, dribble, pass. They're excellent defenders. So to me, this not only was a great power move by Kawhi, knowing what he was doing, knowing who he wanted to play with, and got them to go where he wanted to go. But this sets up a really competitive season, especially for the two LA teams who are going to be bashing heads at each other. Because to me, this is potentially not only going to pave the way for the Western Conference, but how these teams are going to be competing to get out of the West. Because to me, the way these teams are set up, because over the past couple of days, after not getting Kawhi Leonard, what the Lakers did was incredible. They went and signed Danny Green, which to me is a great pickup. They got back Rajon Rondo. They did re-sign JaVale McGee. And they also brought on DeMarcus Cousins. Now, they're still filling out the roster, but they also signed Quinn Cook to a contract as well. So what they did was, to me, it sounded like they had a contingency plan if they did not get Kawhi Leonard, which free agents to call, guys that were on hold, because they put Danny Green on hold and said, if Danny Green doesn't sign here, we'll give you the 2-year, $30 million deal. So they did that. And what the Lakers did is smart. Now you see they're being smart, and none of that stuff was leaked. So to me, that's what makes me. I kind of think the Lakers are going in a different direction. They're not leaking stuff now. And but for the Clippers, man, they had to give up at least 4 draft picks. I think it was the largest haul draft picks in NBA history, and then they had to give up Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But to me, you have to sacrifice some if you want to get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So they did that. So yeah, this is incredible. I like the competitive balances in the league now. One thing that we're going to be looking out for now, though, is what's going to happen with Russell Westbrook, because to me, this is kind of signaling the end of the Westbrook era to a certain extent, where he could be moving on. I think he will be moving on. If I'm Oklahoma City, I want to get him off the books and kind of just rebuild. Maybe see what we got with the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Maybe trade Steven Adams as well. Even though he does have a pretty team-friendly contract, I would see what you can get for Steven Adams as well. Get those guys off the books and just kind of rebuild, because I do know that the owner isn't really too fond of going into the luxury tax. So if I were them, save yourselves a lot of money, rebuild. You got a lot of draft picks that you could trade around, go get some other players if you want to do that. But rumors are that Houston, even though it's a long shot, is looking at Russell Westbrook, even though I don't see how that really fits with them. Because you already have Chris Paul. You already got James Harden. I mean, you don't really need another ball-dominant player. To me, that wouldn't really work out. So, where would you play him? I don't really know. But, I mean, that's really their decision to make. I just don't like the move. But also, the Miami Heat and the Detroit Pistons. I like those teams better because those teams actually need a better point guard. And for the Heat, I think they're looking to get rid of Goran Dragic. So, seeing that Goran Dragic could actually end up somewhere else. I did hear rumors that he could end up in LA, but depending on the fact that they have really no cap room now because they're over the cap now, I don't really see that happening. So it's just something to be on the lookout for. I think that's it for NBA news. But now I'm just gonna talk about what this really does for LA is now that they have two guys who actually are really great in the pick and roll. Defensively, I already talked about. They're two elite defenders. They're two of the best perimeter defenders that we've seen probably of all time, especially Kawhi Leonard. We know what he can do. He's got great long arms. He's got great length. He defends the ball with tenacity. He doesn't get blown by. Same for Paul George. Those two together, that's going to be a problem on the perimeter. But let's not forget their point guard and Patrick Beverley, who re-signed. He can defend 94 feet. So if you already have your head of the defense and you got your two perimeter players, they already have Montrezl Harrell, who's a great post defender. He can actually switch on the guards as well. Yeah, Maurice Harkless. He's a great. He can pretty much play all five positions because of his length, his size, his athleticism as well. And let's not forget, there's another guy that I'm looking at, Rodney McGruder. He can defend as well. So what we're looking at is a team that has defenders all over the board. And I'm thinking this team, to me, this is my title favorite. This is the team I would pick to win the title because of all the pieces that they have defensively. I like what the Lakers did though, because I said that they have a lot of pieces offensively that could help them in terms of scoring wise, shooting the ball. But my problem is that the only guy I would trust, honestly, the only guy I would only trust is Anthony Davis. Because as great as LeBron is still a really great defender. But my problem with LeBron is that he picks and chooses his spots. And also my other problem with this team is that you don't I don't know how you really play with Anthony Davis and LeBron yet. That remains to be seen still because they both want to dominate on the inside. And LeBron has a tendency to kind of push big men out to shoot a lot of threes. So I don't know if that's really going to mesh well with those two. It just, once again, it remains to be seen. Things have to be worked out. So, but back to the Clippers. So defensively, that's already set up. Also, Tom Thibodeau said this team could be like the '08 Celtics, which he was the defensive coordinator of that team, along with the head coach of the Clippers, Doc Rivers. So you're seeing Doc Rivers is once again getting a defensive team that he can win a title with. And a lot of the same actions that he can run with Kawhi Leonard, he can run with Paul George. Because, like I said, these guys are great off the pick and roll. A lot of actions, a lot of sets. I love Lou Williams on that team because he runs the pick and roll exceptionally well with Montrezl Harrell. Those two coming off the bench and scoring. And to me, those two guys were basically the anchors of that team, especially after they made the trade with Tobias Harris, was because when you had those two off the bench, they basically took over games, especially in the second half. So imagine adding Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to that, especially defensively, because we already know what they got defensively. But offensively, you got two closers, especially. Kawhi Leonard can close any game that he wants because he can get any shot that he wants. He's a great mid-range shooter. He's a great three-point shooter. He finishes at the rim because of his strength. So, looking at this team going forward, I'm like, this is seriously a team that is a title favorite, a team that you really can't take lightly. So, I don't I don't think this team's gonna have any problems meshing quickly. The Lakers, to me, are the team that's gonna have a couple of issues because of, like I said, defensively, that's gonna be tough. Adding DeMarcus Cousins, while it's great offensively, are you gonna like start him or are you gonna lead him off the bench? That's one thing you have to contend with, especially with his personality. Even though to me, playing with Golden State, it kind of opened his eyes to how to really play good basketball, play within the team concept, be a good teammate. So I think he's moving into a different stage. But I like I said, I love how the Lakers made moves. They didn't really stand pat and they didn't panic. But it always seems that like LeBron builds his teams around like a lot of players he chooses, but do those players really make defensive impacts? I haven't seen that since the Miami days. I mean, the Cleveland teams were really good. Defensively was always their weakness to me because they could always shoot with any team. But the reason why they won the championship against Golden State with LeBron on that team was because defensively, even though Steph Curry was getting grabbed, he was getting held, getting pushed around, physically they dominated Golden State in that series. Physically they dominated. Especially after Draymond Green got suspended, Andrew Bogut went out. Because before that, Golden State defensively, they dominated Cleveland and made sure Cleveland wasn't able to do what they wanted. But after that, Cleveland just took over. So is this a team that once the playoffs start, are they going to be dominant and physical? If that's what this kind of team is, then I could see them succeeding defensively. But as of right now, I don't know because this looks like a team that's going to pick and choose when they want to play defense, except for Anthony Davis because he just plays both ways 100% of the time. He does not take possessions off. LeBron does at this stage in his career as he needs to do because he's going to be 35. Everybody else, besides even Rajon Rondo, he doesn't take plays off to me either, but it remains to be seen. I do still like this team though. And honestly, I'm going to be quite honest. I'm not a hater. I like these two teams better than I like the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm going to tell you why. As great as Philadelphia looks on paper, you got Ben Simmons. I don't know who the hell you got at shooting guard. You got Tobias Harris at the three, probably, even though he's better as a four because of mismatch problems. I don't know. You're probably going to play freaking Al Horford at the four, even though he's a 6'10" and he wants to play center. And then you got freaking you got Joel Embiid at the five, which is a great option. But it just to me this doesn't work. It just doesn't work to me. I don't know why you wanted to bring on Al Horford in the first place. I don't understand the move. I think they're looking to build a super team. Here's how a super team, if you're going to build a super team, you got to build it with with corresponding parts that work. Al Horford's a great player, great center, but I said he's a center. Tobias Harris is a great forward, but he's more of a power forward. If you play him at the three, he's 6'8", and he's kind of big, and he gets exposed, especially defensively, because you would think he'd be a great defender, but he's really not. So on paper, like I said, they look good. Philadelphia looks good on paper, but beyond their starting lineup, which is pretty good, they don't have a bench. These days, I don't understand why superstars doesn't want to play together, but they forget the fact that you have to have depth behind you. So when you want to build out a team with 3 or 4 superstars, you're going to be missing a lot of corresponding pieces. That's my problem with building super teams now. Especially after what Kawhi Leonard has done to 2 successful dynasties, he's taken them apart, especially with role players and great starters. Not exceptional, not superstars, just great starters. So, I'm going to end this video like this, guys, because I know you got things to do. I'm just going to say this. I love the Clippers. I love the Lakers because, to me, both teams have 2 superstars, but they're really building out the rest of their team with great role players, great bench players, scorers. Defensively, Clippers are going to be hell. They're going to be hell for every team because they have guys everywhere who can lock down and play defense, especially on the perimeter. Perimeter, I don't know if you're going to get by anyone. It's going to be near damn impossible to do it. The anchor in that paint going to be no problem because I love Montrezl Harrell. Like I said, he can switch. He plays great defense inside. He blocks shots. He's a monster. He's a monster. LA can score with anybody. Defensively, they're going to pick and choose their spots, but I love LA. Teams like Philadelphia, I don't love. They don't have a bench. To me, a bench is what's gonna help you in the playoffs. People keep saying you got to shorten your rotations. If you want to win a championship, the Raptors and Kawhi Leonard showed you got to have something behind you. Kawhi Leonard has a whole bunch of role players on the Clippers now. I got the Clippers on the championship this year. I don't care about Philadelphia. You have so many pieces offensively that I don't know how it's gonna work. Ben Simmons, I don't know if he's working on a jump shot. If he isn't working on a jump shot, the paint is going to be clogged, so that's not going to work out. Philadelphia's got stuff to work out. I'm just going to tell you guys that. As for the rest of the NBA, there's not been any other news. But if there is something, I'm here to report to you guys. But those are the 3 teams that we're looking at as the 3 title favorites. I'm not big on those 2 teams. I even like Milwaukee better than I like Philadelphia. So that tells you something, you know. Whew. I think that's gonna do it again for you guys. The Spurs Gym Live Sports. Also, I need to start breaking down more other teams because I do like Utah. I like the moves they made in Utah, especially Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic. Great moves. I like what Sacramento did. I already told you guys I love what Golden State did. A lot of teams have gotten so much better because Golden State doesn't have teams panicking and scared. So just be on the lookout for that. But once again, it's Purple Gym Live Sports. I thank you guys so much. I really enjoy you guys watching my videos. And I will see you guys in my next video.